Good morning. Welcome to the Jason Bramblett Real Estate Show. Hope everyone is enjoying this wonderful, wonderful week of March that we just completed. And of course, the good old-fashioned ACC tournament right back here in the borough. And what I understand, maybe for the last time. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I would hope. I mean, I would hope. It just seems like this is grassroots, right? Well, I guess sometimes though where it started is not where it finishes, but hopefully, and Charlotte's not that far away, but it's far enough. It's far enough. But anyway, let me tell you, boy, oh boy, what in the world happened to those interest rates this past week? Woo, buddy, they're cooking. And I said, the word on the street is, holy smokes, why did they go up? I thought they were going to come down. Well, we hoped that they were going to come down. That's what it was. You hoped that they were going to come down, but hey, it's the life that we're in. Look, here's the thing, guys. Out of the last 60 years, let me repeat that. Out of the last 60 years, only 8 of those years, interest rates were below 5%. So we're just kind of back to kind of where we always needed to be, truthfully. I mean, that's the real truth of that is. So, hey, lots and lots. We had actually a record week this week. I'm so excited to say this. Record week of new houses hitting the market this week. So that is awesome because inventory's been kind of sluggish. So we're starting to see the numbers go in the right way. Now, it's going to take a while to catch up. I don't know that we're going to add them that fast, but hey, it's at least a move in the right direction. And based off the inventory that I just kind of breezed through, some really, really good new choices out there. So, I'd say this, you better jump on them because they're getting snagged up left and right for what I'm seeing as well. They're going under contract pretty quick. Like, unfortunately, we're starting to see multiple offers start to spike up again, Keith, if you can believe it or not. And I don't know. We're headed into the busiest quarter of real estate, and we may get back into this bidding more multiple offer thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Come up with here's the thing: whether you're selling or buying, you need to get a strategy together, and that is what we are really good at doing: is giving you some direction, giving you some focus, and taking a look at where you want to get in this little bit of as painful or painless, not painful, painless as possible. And here's the thing: it could happen faster than you think if you don't go in with a plan. So we want to be prepared from the very, very beginning. So we got all that, some of your calls, some of your emails, my answers as usual. And you can find all that out by going to jasonbramlettrealestate.com. Click on the old email icon there, shoot over that question, and we'll definitely provide you with an answer. Or you can call the office. It's 553-0796. And with that, sir, let's dive into all of the nuggets and wisdom that we have today. It is crazy to think, right? I mean, rates have doubled. Let me say that again. Rates have doubled, folks, yet we're still seeing homes with 5, 10, and 15 offers in the past week. We've experienced that right here. Isn't that bananas? It's bananas. I'm with you. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think it goes back to that 8 years out of 60. It's people, if young people today are buying homes and they're talking to their parents about interest rates, and their parents are probably saying, well, when I bought my house in anywhere from 06 to 2010, rates were between 7 and 8%. So if I go to my mom and dad and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house, what were interest rates when you bought a house? Between 7 and 8. I look at mine and it's on the low end of that. Well, I'm getting, I'm not breaking the family mold there, right? So, I don't know. It's crazy that we launched the house this week. I mean, it wasn't a great neighborhood, great school area, highly desirable. Man, we had like 30 showings in 24 hours, multiple offers. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, we still have such a shortage of supply. I mean, we could put a, 1,000 homes on the market in the Triad. I don't think it'd move the needle at all. I mean, it's just so few choices out there. So, you know, I mean, and we're not winning all of them. One of my agents this week. I mean, she talked to me. We strategized. She's like, "Look, they're going to go $20,000 over list price, $20,000 non-refundable deposit. They didn't get the house. I just like you got to be kidding me." I was like, I just could not believe it. $20,000 non-refundable and 20,000 over list price. Didn't get the house. I was talking to a buddy of mine that owns a real estate company here, and he said, you know, same thing. They had an agent. They offered $50,000 over asking price with a $30,000 non-refundable deposit. Nope, they didn't get the house either. Different house, but still did not get it. I mean, I just sat there scratching my head, and you know, it's like, wow, you know. So regardless of what you think about real estate and whether you think it's a good or bad or whatever, there is still a super strong demand, regardless of the interest rates. Huge demand out here. So, you know, and this is my guess. And yes, Paul D, this is just a guess. Paul's one of my favorite listeners out here that likes to challenge my predictions. But anyway, hey, everybody's got one. But you know, owners really do have the opportunity to cash out, I think, this spring and summer and still really get the lion's share of equity out. And actually, we're, you know, obviously, if people are paying 30, 40, $50,000 over asking price, there may be even more to get a little more than the lion's share out. So now here's the thing. Once August gets here, I don't know, we're going to see. It could be a pretty quick slowdown. If the rates, I would say it start to get closer to the 8%, maybe start to increase a little bit. We might, once school starts, we might see a little quicker, you know, slowdown. I don't know. It's just, we're in uncharted territories, other than the demand is still high, the inventory is still low, prices are actually increasing, believe it or not. I mean, we just talked about it in December. I told you guys that home prices had dropped a little bit. Well, guess what? They're back. February, homes went up, average over $10,000. I mean, it's just bonkers. So, because you would think with the higher interest rates, you would start to see some reprieve in price. No, they just went right back up. So February, average home price in the Triad went up $10,000. So it's going to be a fun ride in Q2 to watch how this happens. And the team at the office, man, we're getting wired up for this, ready to go. A lot of buzz, a lot of excitement. We're having meetings every week and digging into how we're going to serve people the best, how we're going to make sure that if we do get back into this crazy multiple offer situation, how our clients' offers can stand out, and so that they can get the house that they want. So real estate is definitely more fun than when it's busy. I'll promise you that, and things are moving, because, you know, I had the fortunate to, you know, to be the guy that was, you know, working in the real estate market during the crash. And let me tell you, it's a lot more fun and exciting today than it is when I go to somebody's house and be like, guess what? Your house just went down another $8,000 this week. Isn't that awesome? You know, oh, those were tough times. I mean, it was really, I felt like I was almost in the mortuary business. It was depressing because the home values were dropping so fast. So it's not the case here in 2023. Everything is rocking and rolling and moving around, and it's exciting times. So real estate today for me is kind of like Disneyland every day. It's the Magic Kingdom all over again. It's good stuff. So the 30-year rate today is sitting at about 7.3%. So, you know, and of course, you know, I'm sure Monday it'll change again, but it was at about 6.75. So it, you know, jumped up about 3/4 of a point, you know, back and forth. It just is a little bit all over the place, but anywhere between 7 to 7.5 is probably what we'll see. I would guess the next, well, probably the rest of March. the rest of the month. So now we'll say the 15-year rate is sitting at about 6.5%. So not quite a whole point less, but hey, that's some pretty good savings. I mean, it's savings in two ways. One, you're saving 1%, but think about this, you're also in debt for half the time, guys. So, because last time I checked, 15 is, half of 30. So you can cut that down, cut your indebtedness time down. The other thing is a tremendous amount more of your payment goes to principal when you're on that 15-year mortgage because the time's shorter. And, I've always been a fan of that. So I highly recommend you taking a look at it. And, some clients are also looking into the adjustable rate products. Now, I'm not a huge advocate of them other than in times like this, it's something to take a look at. So I'll give you an example, your 5-year adjustable rate mortgage, it's at 6.3. So it is 1% less than the 30-year mortgage. Here's the cool thing. It's locked in at the 6.3 for 5 years. It will not change. Now, year 6, it certainly could potentially go up. It is possible. It depends on what the rates are doing at that time. And you have to look at that. I actually probably should have gave you the numbers on the 7-year arm, because traditionally we see people making moves somewhere around years 7, 8, and 9. And so if you're only going to be in the house, let's just say for the 7 years, and you can save 1% in interest by doing the 7 years, and you're going to sell it anyway, why would you finance it for 30 if you know you're only going to be sitting there for 7? So just something to think about. Now, when the rates are at 2.8, adjustable rate didn't make any sense to me at all. But in today's world, it may be something to consider. And the fact that you're locked in for 7 years at that rate. But if rates drop down to 4.5, well, you can refinance out of that product just like you can with any, consumer-based home mortgage. So the question is really, is it a good time to buy or not? And I mean, to me, it's always a good time to buy. That's just just the way that I look at it. I don't necessarily buy the home I'm going to live in for financial reasons. I buy it to create the lifestyle that I want for my family. So based on supply and demand, I would certainly consider buying right now. Even old Dave Ramsey agrees. Keith, he says, buy now, buy now, buy now. And here's his position. He believes home values are going to continue to rise for the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, and the rates will eventually fall. Now, think about that. You can lock into a better price today by buying the home now. If rates go down, you always have that refinance option, right? And so you can always buy the rate down and or refinance down. But here's where you save. You save because you purchased at a much lesser price. I mean, homes in the Triad, think about this, guys, went up $10,000 last month. So I do know this, it is way better to buy at 7% interest rate than it is to add another $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 to the house price because you waited 2 or 3 years. Financially, it'd be way better to pay higher interest and get a lower price than it would be in just 2 to 3 years. You're sitting here paying $50,000 to $60,000 to $75,000 more for the house. We've done that breakdown on the show before in the math. So something to think about as you ponder diving in to the 2023 real estate market. I would just encourage you to look at the math, look at the number of years that you guys plan to live in the home, because that really is the number one first question we ask. What's the plan and how long do we plan on staying here? And we have some people that will say, we're going to live here, for the rest of our lives. Well, we know that typically isn't going to happen. If it was 1960, I would kind of sort of believe you. Because I have sold a lot of homes of owners that bought their homes in the 1960s and they were still in the same house. But this new modern era of basically from Gen X and down, yeah, we don't do that. We're like mobile. We're always moving. At least it seems every 7 to 10 years, there's something happening. The other thing too is we just move more as Americans these days. I mean, back when, my parents, but definitely my grandparents were growing up, I mean, you probably lived within, I mean, some people just lived within a couple hundred yards of their family. I mean, you didn't like your family didn't live in two different states. It is very unusual. And so now, the family dynamic now is spread out. So anyway, real estate is fun. Take a look at it in 2023. Don't forget, you can go to Jason Bramblett Real Estate. We're going to take a quick time out. You are listening to the Jason Bramblett Real Estate Show. We'll be back in just a minute. And welcome back to the Jason Bramblett Real Estate Show as we dig into all things real estate, sharing our wisdom, our knowledge, our expertise, and, well, the future right here with you of real estate and the Triad, if nothing else. But having a good time today, digging into the should we buy, should we sell, what, Jason, what should we do? And really it comes down to, you got to make that family decision. It's not always about the money. A lot of times we get analysis paralysis because of that, but that's what we can help you do with having one of our strategy sessions, is to give you a 30,000-foot view and just do the math with you and just get that third party to say, hey, this is what it looks like. Is this something you want to do or not do? It makes the decision process easier. It takes a lot of pressure off of you. So with that, Keith, let's dive in. I know we got a few more minutes here to wrap things up. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yes, there definitely, there are some great homes on the market. There's no question, but there's a lot of eyes watching them too. And so even if you see one, well, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a great house that hit the market in an area that one of our agents was looking, and by the time they got the person to work, they were able to get off of work anyway. House went under contract within 4 hours. Yeah, and it's just like, wow, you got to be ready to rock and roll. But you could also do this. We have a VIP buyers club. So here's the cool thing: our VIPs get to see homes before they go into the general market. That's a pretty cool thing. So, which is nice. So here's the thing: we've got owners that they don't want the general public coming through their house. They don't want 50 showings in 2 days. They don't want all the foot traffic and all the whatever. They kind of want to do it the old-fashioned way. It's kind of how I started in real estate, which was networking, was picking up the phone and finding a buyer for the house and talking to other real estate agents and saying, this is what I've got to offer, and this is what's coming, and not having 52 of these people flocking through your house. And it works well for the owner and a potential buyer. It's a slower pace, which is nice. There's no bidding wars, which I know the buyers appreciate, and some owners do too. They're not crazy about all the love letters that buyers write them and tell them about why they should pick them, and trying to get their attention and all those things. These owners really just want a fair price for their house, and that's it. And they don't want the inconvenience of all the noise of somewhat of what we've created in real estate. Somewhat is just the market of being the high demand and having a lower inventory. But they don't want that. They want a controlled experience. They don't like this wild west stuff. They don't even like the bidding war. They're just like, I want this for my house, and if you get that and somebody will agree to pay it, I'll sell. And that's all they're looking for. And they don't want all the other bells and whistles and stuff that comes along sometimes with real estate. Now, if you want to sell your house on the open market and you don't mind the Wild West, and you want 85 offers, and you want to squeeze every flipping penny out of this thing that you can, well, we do that every day. That is no problem. But that's not a VIP situation. That's just what we do all the time. But there's not every owner wants that. Some do, and that's perfectly fine. And we certainly offer that service and do that every day. It's just a lot of folks that we deal with that they just, I don't know, they're in a different place in their life, Keith, I guess is the best way I can say it. And money it's important, but it's not the most important thing. The way they live their life, and they just want to have a peaceful day and not a bunch of chaos and commotion. They want to come home, and they want to come home. They don't want to have to leave for 14 showings. They're happy to accommodate one or two, but that's about it. And they just, that's just the service that they're willing to pay for. So it may be a absolute perfect program for you. It may not, whether you're selling and or buying. But from the buying standpoint, once you get into our VIP group, we certainly do share those opportunities with you first before they go out to the general public. So that's a good way to get in front of that. You can get more information about that. Just go to jasonbramlettrealestate.com and click on the VIP page, and it will walk you through how that works. I'll say this, the steam is building up for sure. No question about it. It is a lot of buzz going on. I'm very optimistic that we're going to crush 2023 here at Jason Bramlett Real Estate, just because we just got so many things that are working in our favor. We have the best operations team in our entire company history, for sure. The best, all stars. These guys are amazing. And the sales team is gelling. I mean, they're putting in the work. They're out there. They got to work these days. It's not just like, hey, there's 14 houses to choose from. You got to go out there and find them. You got to go out there and beat the bushes and find it. So who's not going to make it? Well, in my opinion, I think it's the solo agent out there trying to do it all on their own, that doesn't have an operations support team. That probably they're probably the advertiser, the marketing director. They're the sign deliver person, to get the lot box out there. They might even be taking the pictures, measuring the house, doing all the stuff, making the calls, putting it into the computer, and trying to run 14 different hats and running with 14 different plates spinning in the air, or whatever you want to say. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And it's tough to fight for your voice in the market when it's just you and you're doing everything, as opposed to when you work for a team and each person has a specialty in which they do on the team, and they do it at a very, very high level. What that does, it gets more people in front of our agents. So maybe you'd like to talk about that. You can go to jasonbramlettrealestate.com, shoot us a message. We'd love to have a conversation. We are definitely adding to the team this year. And with that, everybody have a fantastic Saturday. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll see you right back here next week on the Jason Bramlett Real Estate Show.